Yes, sir. Yeah? That's one of them questions where, as the Germans say, ich weiß nicht. I know not. Come to Revelation 10. Sir? Question is, John, in the island of Patmos, sees this vision. The Lord gives him a commission and tells him he's got to do some preaching later. So the question is, does John come back in the tribulation to preach or what? Revelation 10:10. The answer to that is, I don't know. You say, well, don't you know that Bible? No, I don't know all of it. Sam Jones said, if I knew it all, I'd know somebody wrote it didn't have more sense than I had. On that 10:10, I took the little book of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter, and he said to me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. You take that literally, it means old John's got to come back to tribulation and preach as an evangelist, which is rough. Now, you want to really get it rough, let me show you. Want to talk about rough? Turn to Matthew 10. Let me show you a jawbreaker. Matthew 10. Matthew 10:22. This is a tribulation commission. Man, there's plenty of Bullinger and Stam haven't got it worked out. Matthew 10:22. That many Calvin never even found. Matthew 10:22. This book has yet to find somebody to understand it. Matthew 10:22. I'm writing commentaries in the Bible. I just finished Job, 600 pages, finished Acts, 650 pages, and finished Exodus, 500 pages. Takes a lot of time. I have to do my own typing, my own proofreading. Don't have any secretary, and don't have any library. I just do it out in the backyard. And I'm on the minor prophets now, and I'm approaching Zechariah, and I'm approaching with fear and trembling. There are 3 books in the Bible I can't exposit. There's Zechariah and Hebrews and the Song of Solomon. Now, there are about 500 verses in the Bible leave me cold. And 200 of them are in Zechariah and Hebrews and Song of Solomon. You see what you can do about that? Nothing. Just plead ignorance. I'm not going to stand up and run to the original language to cover up my ignorance. I just don't know. And the Lord shows me, I'll know. If He don't show me, I don't know. That's all. Criswell, that's what scholars are afraid of. They're afraid of looking like a dumbbell. It never bothered me a bit. I'll tell you, I'm one of the stupidest blockheads you ever saw in your life along some lines. I know where I'm dumb, too. You know, you live yourself along with I have. You know where you're smart. You know where you're dumb. There's some things I wouldn't get into. I wouldn't get to handling a lot of money. You wouldn't catch me signing checks for a church or a school or nothing. I wouldn't touch it. I don't know about money. Don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to handle. I don't know how to handle physics, chemistry. Don't know how to fix car motors, machinery. When it comes to a car, I'm just like a woman. I think a car to run, if you can't drive it, sell it. That's all I know. That's right, brother. If I'm driving a car and it stops, I'll sell it. It may just be out of gas. I don't know what's wrong with it. And I've had that combustion engine explained to me 1,000 times. I don't understand it. Someone on my car go up and pick up the hood and look at it and say, there's a trouble. That motor. Trouble's in the motor. The lady said, she said to a garage mechanic, she said, well, what's wrong with it? And he said, it's got a short circuit. And she said, well, for goodness sake, lengthen it, lengthen it, lengthen it. And that's why I am on it, you know. I know nothing about cars. And I know where I'm stupid. And there's some place in the Bible I know nothing about. And this thing about John coming back, it's not only John, it's all 12 of them. Look at verse 22. Matthew 10:22. You shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. Now, you remember last night you read that in Matthew 24:13, in the middle of tribulation? Now, here it is in Matthew 10. Now, watch this. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another, for verily I say unto you, you shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. Why, he lied to them. They preached all over Israel. He didn't come back. Book of Acts. That's something. He told those apostles, you won't have gone over the cities of Israel till I've come back. Well, they went all over him and he didn't come back. Now, what you going to do with that thing unless that thing's a tribulation commission? But boy, you talk about getting a mess, man. If you have the second coming of Moses, which you have, he's one of the two witnesses, and the second coming of Elijah, he's one of the two witnesses, and the second coming of John, and the second coming of the 12, pretty soon you got to resurrect Balaam and Pharaoh and everybody else, man. I don't know where in the world's you at. And I'll tell you, you say, what about those verses? Well, I'll just tell you frankly, brother, I don't understand them. I don't know what they are. You know, I got a good friend. He's up in Macon, Georgia. His name is Sheehan, E.C. Sheehan. He's an old Southern Baptist boy and loves the Lord. I guess he's independent by now. God knows they've given him a hard enough beating. But he went to Mercy University, Southern Baptist School. And he went there and graduated and got a good church going. And when the Southern Baptist conventions had the big meetings, he'd go to them. And Criswell came into town and had a big meeting in Macon. And Criswell came into town, and one night during a dull convention business meeting, nothing any duller, you know, than pass the motion, table the motion, second the motion, I make all that stuff, you know, push you to sleep. And Criswell and Sheehan said, let's go down here, a good nigger preacher, you know. That's what they said. That's where they talk over in Georgia, you know. Men don't talk that way. That's where they talk over there. Now, let's go down here, a good nigger preacher. So they went down to hear one. And they got down there, and there was some big old colored church down there with about 400 darkies in it. It'd seat about 200, and there were 400 of them in there, just hanging out the windows and all over the place, you know. And they couldn't get in. So they went over to the window and leaned the window and watched it, you know. And the pastor got up there, he was sitting up there, he said he's up there in white gloves, you know. And he came time to introduce the evangelist. Evangelist got up there, and he said, now, he says, before I go to preaching tonight, he said, I want to ask you all one question. He turned around and said, preacher, he said, where was the Lord before the foundation of the earth? And that preacher said, I don't know. He turned to the song leader and he said, boy, he said, where was the Lord before the foundation of the earth? And he said, I don't know. He turned to the choir and said, choir? He said, tell me something, where was the Lord before the foundation of the world? Now the whole choir, about 60 darkies, said, we don't know. And they turned out the congregation. He said, congregation, he said, tell me something, where was the Lord before the foundation of the earth? We don't know. And he turned right over to Criswell in the window. Criswell's a BD and an MA. And he said, white man. He said, white man over the window. He said, where was the Lord before the foundation of the world? And old Criswell was leaving that window. And he said, I don't know. And that colored preacher said, well, he was in his glory. That's where he was. And Criswell said, why didn't I think of that? So there's something that come the Word of God, you know, the answer is, I don't know.